Hello there. It's Adam from Jersey Shore Susie's. Since Iron Man has been announced, I'd always wanted to make a ranking of all of the coasters at Dorney Park. Just for some context, Dorney Park is located in Allentown, Pennsylvania. It is run by Six. I don't even know anymore. They currently have 8 coasters, including Iron Menace, but it wasn't around during my most recent and only park visit. The park may not have the craziest coaster lineup, but is an absolute pleasure to visit. It's just nice. They deserved a new coaster, which is why I'm so happy to see them get the attention. But anyway, here's my ranking of the coasters at Dorney Park. At number 7, we have Woodstock Express. I've experienced other Zamperla Gravity kiddie coasters like Woodstock Express, but it does a surprisingly good job with the vibes. This is tucked in the Camp Snoopy area of the park, which is really well done overall. Obviously, the layout isn't anything special, given its ranking, but it's still pretty nice. At number 6, it's Wildness. I really don't need to explain its placing. It's a boring, trim-filled, airtimeless Wildness. Enough said. Coming in at number 5 is Thunderhawk. This old, historic PTC Woody is understandably forceless. The first drop and the drop off the turnaround have the tiniest bit of airtime, but there isn't that much in the rest. It also has its roughness, being around 100 years old. Still a fun little experience, but nothing really crazy. It's good for the families. Dorney desperately needs a modern Woody that has lots of ejector. At number 4, we have Possessed. I stupidly rode this intimate impulse in the wrong row. Between the back and second row, I chose the second row. This ride is still solid though. A ton of positives on the rolling launch. It's actually kinda nuts. The back spike has some air, and the twisted spike is fun, but it's still a basic model. In the 3 spot, we have Hydra the Revenge. Hydra is just weird. It starts off weird with the JoJo roll, a really rare inversion that is practically a heartline roll out of the station. I also love the surprisingly airtime filled straight drop and the floaty 0G roll. But aside from these few elements, Hydra lacks the intensity of a top tier floorless. Nothing really puts it above and beyond. The other elements just kind of glide, with a bit of rattle too. All of this might make me want to knock Hydra down, but it's still a B&M, and it's still solid. Sneaking into second place is Talon. This B&M invert is quite underrated. Talon has a more compact layout compared to the more popular inverts, but something about it just works. The first half is a basic for an invert. Forceful twisted drop and a vertical loop, an equally forceful and floaty 0G roll, followed by an Immelman. Then it gets interesting. After a drop, the ride gets lower to the ground, snappier and more dynamic. Every element pops in this section, including the perfectly executed corkscrew. I go in between this and Great Bear on which is better. They're both quite solid. It's also extremely photogenic. I mean, look at this thing. Easily one of the greatest color schemes of all time. Something about that blue and orange and yellow just work. Anyway, Talon is a super fun and underrated invert. Wasn't expecting it to be this good during my visit. And at number 1, we have Steel Force. Not only is it my favorite coaster at Dorney, but it also cracks my overall top 10. I'm starting to sound like a broken record, but Steel Force is an underrated gem. Many enthusiasts coin Morgan Hypers as airtimeless or boring, but my 2 back car rides were anything but. A journey of floater hills and positives. Being a bit on the older side, the restraints are really forgiving and free. The lap bars were a good 2 inches above my waist. The drop and first few hills hold loads of sustained floater. The downward helix is as intense as any other helix on any other hyper. In the hill at the end, great finale to the ride. It might have more jank than a flashy B&M, but it sure as heck gets the job done. So yeah, Steel Force is pretty darn good. So that's the list. Again, it would be real nice if I could have ridden Iron Menace before making this ranking, but that's kind of difficult. Anyways, if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.